Shalom, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcasting to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, Jerusalem's most sacred site, the ancient Temple Mount compound, where both biblical temples once stood, will be closed to all non-Muslims visitors during this year's Jerusalem Day celebrations, which marks the city's reunification under sovereignty of the Jewish state. The United States and Israel celebrated last night the one-year anniversary of the relocation of the U.S. Embassy in the country from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, during which the U.S. ambassador identified the God of Israel as the most significant source of Jerusalem's strength. The Islamic Republic of Iran has implemented its decision to start scaling back on its commitment relating to the 2015 nuclear agreement. Jerusalem's most sacred site, the ancient Temple Mount compound, where both biblical temples once stood, will be closed to all non-Muslim visitors during this year's Jerusalem Day celebrations, which marks the city's reunification under sovereignty of the Jewish state. The decision was made by Israel's police, which is tasked with maintaining the security over the ancient compound. According to a police statement, every year the Temple Mount is closed to visitors during the last days of the Muslim month of Ramadan for reasons of public safety and public order. This year, however, Jerusalem Day falls on the last days of Ramadan, June 1st and 2nd, which apparently led Israel to make a decision on providing precedence to Muslim worshippers over Israeli citizens that aspire to celebrate the city's reunification, a measure undertaken for concrete security concerns. While this decision once again raises questions about the true sovereign over the Temple Mount, it is not unprecedented, considering that a similar dilemma ultimately saw an identical decision implemented in 1988 when Jerusalem Day fell on the Muslim Ramadan holiday. It is important to know that the Temple Mount, known to Muslims as Haram el-Sharif and the location of the Al-Aqsa Mosque, is the third holiest site in Islam. That is why, contradicting the fundamental international law of freedom of worship, non-Muslims are only allowed to visit the site at certain times of the day and week, but are barred on penalty of incarceration from praying or displaying non-Muslim symbols. While TV7 sought to clarify the matter with the police spokesperson's unit, it was not immediately available for a response due to the sensitive nature of the matter. That said, TV7 will continue to follow this report for any future updates. Now, in other news relating to Jerusalem, the United States and Israel celebrated last night the one-year anniversary of the relocation of the U.S. Embassy in the country from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. In a celebratory event that marked the historic occasion, the American ambassador to the country, David Friedman, took the opportunity to reject multiple statements by persons that termed Washington's decision to move the embassy to Jerusalem as merely symbolic.
When people say, this is just symbolic. What's the big deal? You moved the building from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, it's just symbolic. That just could not be further from the truth. The move of the embassy was the validation by the strongest nation in the world, not just strong militarily and not just strong economically, but strong morally, strong ethically, with a bedrock of Judeo-Christian values that govern every citizen's attachment to this country. That country recognized the unbreakable, historical, truthful connection between the Jewish people and the city of Jerusalem. That is not symbolic. That is the farthest thing from symbolic.
Ambassador Friedman also insisted that despite the growing regional threats that Israel faces, Jerusalem's ever-growing relationship with Washington allows it to overcome those challenges. And beyond the strength that resonates in the U.S.-Israel alliance, he pointed to Israel's most significant source of strength, which the United States does not underestimate.
There's much more to do to strengthen the relationship with Israel. Some say our most important ally in the region. I would take out the word region. To bring new and bold ideas of cooperation to just make this relationship stronger and stronger and stronger. Someone asked me today, do you think is Israel getting stronger, or are the threats potentially making Israel weaker? And I said, look, Israel is growing stronger for two reasons. Number one, the objective metric by which Israel measures itself, the most important one, is how strong is its relationship with the United States and how many levels. And that it just keeps growing and growing and getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And the second is Israel has one secret weapon that not that many countries have. Israel is on the side of God. And we don't underestimate that.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who attended the ceremony together with his wife Sarah, once again reiterated that despite manifestation of multiple alliances between Israel and countries throughout the international community, Jerusalem will never forget the indispensable alliance that precedes all else and is important like no other.
All countries need alliances. Superpowers need alliances. So obviously a small country, small in territory, giant in spirit, a country like Israel needs alliances too. And as we make those alliances with the Arab world, in Asia, in Africa, in Latin America, as we make those alliances, we never forget the indispensable alliance, the alliance with the United States.
The Israeli leader also took the opportunity to hail the growing relations between the Jewish state and its Arab neighbors, while underlining the cause of the emerging relations with the Arab world as a partnership that stems from a united desire to stop Iran's regional aggression.
There is a new efflorescence, a new renaissance of relations between us and many of our Arab neighbors, and many non-Arab Muslim countries, many more than you can think. And it's true that we're united in our desire to stop Iranian aggression. And I believe that Israel and all the countries of the region and all the countries who seek peace in the world should stand together with the United States against Iranian aggression.
The Israeli leaders call on the international community to back the United States in efforts to confront the Islamic Republic of Iran came just several hours before Tehran's Supreme National Security Council ordered to begin rolling back some of the country's commitments under the 2015 nuclear agreement. An Iranian official was quoted by ISNA, the state-backed Iranian students' news agency, as saying that the regime will stop programs related to compliance with regard to the ceiling for production of enriched uranium, as well as the unlimited production of heavy water at the nuclear Arak facility. While the Iranian Foreign Ministry did not immediately respond to TV7's request for comment, Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei announced in remarks that were broadcast on Iranian state television that he does not believe the standoff between the Islamic Republic and the United States would escalate into an all-out war. The top Iranian leader, who holds all executive powers pertaining to the country, also took the opportunity to underline his refusal to consider negotiating with the United States.
جنگی بنا نیست انجام بگیره و انجام هم نخواهد گرفت به توفیق الهی. نه ما دنبال جنگیم، اونا هم به صرفشون نیست که دنبال جنگ باشن. میدونن که به صرفشون نیست. مذاکره سمه برای مذاکره ما و آمریکا تا وقتی آمریکا این نیست که الان هست.
Meanwhile, in Washington, U.S. President Donald Trump rejected a report that was published by the New York Times about a military plan by top American security officials to send up to 120,000 troops to the Middle East to counter any attack or nuclear weapons acceleration by Iran. President Trump referred to the report as fake news and emphasized that while he hopes there would be no need for a military plan, he will send many more than the stated number of troops to the region if the Islamic Republic would target U.S. interests.
I think it's fake news, okay? Now, would I do that? Absolutely. But we have not planned for that. Hopefully, we're not going to have to plan for that. And if we did that, we'd send a hell of a lot more troops than that.
Thank you for watching us. Keep praying for the peace of Israel and the peace of Jerusalem. I'm Jonathan Hessen. Have a Erev Tov, and we will see you again tomorrow at the same time.